So we just got back from dinner. This camera has not been focusing lately. I don't know why. But I wanted to show you the beautiful balloons my husband got me for Valentine's Day. Aren't they so pretty? Maybe I'll use that for my thumbnail if I remember. Look at those. Aren't they so wonderful? We took a bunch of pictures in front of them. So we just got back from dinner with Jason and Melissa. We went to Ocean Prime, which is like this steakhouse seafood place, which was really fun. And we had a good time. I had a twice baked potato, and I had a wedge, oh my god, that light, and a wedge salad, but with no bacon on it. Look at Melissa made us these cookies. Isn't that so sweet? And we had fun. And Alex had a, like an 8-ounce filet. Melissa had crab legs, and Jason had a filet. And we were gonna get dessert, but we were so full. And Alex said he already has his alarm set. He's like getting ready to go to bed. And here's my baby right here. Come here. Come here, Tucker. Come here. Do you want to say hi to everybody? Come here, honey. Yeah, come here. He said, well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Did you have a good day? He said, I had a real good day, Dad. Yeah. So I'm going to change into a sweatshirt. And then I'm going to go listen to some of my audiobook. I'm now listening to Angie Thomas's On the Come Up. And there's Boo Rabbit. Come here, Boo. You want to say hello to everybody? Oh, ouch. Hit my elbow. He said, hello, everybody. I just wanted to say a happy Valentine's Day. What are you doing? He goes, oh, I have many plans. I'm going to New York City tonight. New York City? Oh, yes, New York City. They have after hours Valentine's Day parties. My invitation has been requested. It has. He goes, oh, I'm so excited. I have to put on a red turtleneck and then I'll be on my way. Are you taking the red eye? Oh, of course. I have my own private jet. You have your own private jet? Yes. Well, why wouldn't I? Well, how do you afford such things? I have lots of gold coins. Don't even worry about it. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to go change and put on a sweatshirt. And then I'm going to go out and listen to my audiobook and then vlog in a little bit. So I will be back in a little while. Bye. Turn off. Turn off. Turn off. So I'm back. Hello. How are you? Alex was asleep with the dogs before I even left the house. I was like changing and brushing my teeth and stuff, and I went over to kiss him goodbye and he was already asleep. So anyway, we had a great time at dinner. It was really fun. We went with Melissa and Jason, and we went to this place called Ocean Prime. That's a steakhouse. And honestly, and maybe it's just because I got a baked potato and a salad, but our bill wasn't really that expensive compared to what it is like if we, like in LA, our bills were expensive out there. But it wasn't too expensive. I mean, it was expensive dinner, but it wasn't like, you know, I mean, I expected it to be, it wasn't even over $100. But it's expensive to go out. There were, I mean, it was packed. I couldn't believe it. And our reservations were at 9 o'clock. We went late. And when we got there, they were like running like 20 minutes behind, so we stood in the bar for a little bit. And they have like this truffle popcorn at the bar that is fantastic. Anyway, it was just fun. We sat there and we planned our Miami trip and talked about Miami and stuff, and it was really fun. We had a good time. And had a good waiter. He was really funny, so that's always fun too, you know. But anyway, it was kind of fun doing a double date for Valentine's Day. I mean, Alex and I go out to dinner so much, just the two of us anyway, you know, that it was kind of like, I don't know, it felt just a little bit different. And we took a bunch of pictures before we left, and yeah. I feel like this has been such a long day because I was up so early this morning, and so when I stopped vlogging, I came home and I started uploading the vlog, rendering it, and I waited there. I watched actually the match game. I don't know why. I like watched like an episode and a half of the match game, and I'm like looking up all of these people that are on the panel, because I mean, some of them like Patty Duke Aston and stuff like that, like I know them, but then I'm actually taking a different route tonight on my interstate driving to listen to audiobooks. I was like, I'm gonna do something different tonight, so I'm going a different way. But there was a couple of them on there that I know, but there's like a lot of them on there that I've never heard of these people before, and so I was like looking them up to see who these people were. Have you guys ever watched the Match Game back in the day? Betty White was on it forever. It's funny. It's like, I don't know. Like, for its time, it was really progressive, some of the things they talked about. Today, I mean, it's not really anything, but back then it was. There was this, what was her name? Like Brett Summers or Brett something. And she was apparently like one of the longest panelists ever to be on Match Game. And she had done like some stage acting and some TV acting, but like none of the people on there were very famous when they were on there. But she was like on there for like 9 years, and her husband was an actor, and so he like suggests, I Wikipedia'd all this stuff. Do you guys do that? Like when you're watching TV shows and stuff, you Wikipedia people to see like their stories? So yeah, I was doing that. And then when the vlog was ready to be like uploaded to YouTube, which is why I didn't post it till like 5, I don't know why, but I drove to the airport and I applied for the TSA pre-check thing. It took me like 10 minutes to do. I thought it would take like an hour, because Alex said it took him like a half an hour, but he said he had to wait in line when he did it. I just walked in, there was nobody there. It was weird being at the airport and not going anywhere, because I mean, I'm never at the airport unless I'm going somewhere. Although I did remember, like, when I was in high school, my hair looked much cuter earlier in the evening, I must say. But I was thinking about this when I was like walking in, that when I was in high school, my friends and I would drive to the airport and we would walk around and just like pick a, like, this is what we would do on a Friday night. Not every Friday night, but sometimes we would like look at the thing, and then we would like say we were gonna like go somewhere, and then we would go sit at that like gate and just kind of sit there back in the day. I don't know why we did that, but we did. And yeah, we'd eat at the we would go eat at the airport and stuff like that. Kind of funny when I look back on that. But so got all that done. Then I came home and ran some errands that I had to do, and then I came back, and by that point it was like 12 o'clock, and I was like, I'm gonna lay down for another hour. So I laid down with the dogs for like an hour and a half, and then I got up and cleaned the house a little bit and ran some errands, came back, I had some more errands I had to do, came back, and then filmed a video I wanted to film videos for all of my channels. But by that point, Alex was going to get off work early, so I filmed a video for my Peter Monn channel real quick, and got it up. Like, I was getting it up to be rendered and stuff, and Alex came home, and I just fed the dogs, was unloading the dishwasher. This is like the exciting part of my life, right? And bringing in the trash because it was trash day and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, so anyway, just nothing happening. Anyway, and then Alex got home, and we hung out for a little bit because it was Valentine's Day. And then we got ready and to go out to dinner. We took a bunch of pictures, like I said, and that was about it. He brought me a bunch of balloons, like I showed you, and I got him some cards and some candy. We used to go all out for Valentine's Day. We don't really do that as much anymore. You know, Christmas, we like do nice things. Our birthdays are really like big gift days for us, but we don't really do a whole lot for Valentine's Day. I was thinking about this tonight. It's weird. This was our 10th Valentine's Day together, and I don't remember what we did the first year. Maybe the first year was the one when we went to Steak and Shake, but I don't think it was. There's like I don't know if it's accident or construction that I just passed, but it's gonna be all this traffic, and they're like stopping the road right here. There's like a cop in the middle of the road, and he's like stopping traffic. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have come this way, because I'm gonna have to come back through there. Well, I'll just go a little bit further. I'm actually going in the direction that I went to the psychic one time, and she was the one that I went to when she taped it, and then she was like, you can listen to it later. I mean, she didn't get one thing right. Like, there was nothing remotely close to anything correct. And her granddaughter, poor thing, kept on running in and out of the room. She like smoked cigarettes the whole time, and she was like, her granddaughter would run in, she'd be like, "Is it time yet?" And felt so bad for her. She was like 5, and the psychic would be like, "Grandma told you not to come out while it's time for readings. You won't be getting a toy if you keep on coming out here." And she'd go, and she'd like pout and go back in the. I felt so bad, but she was so sweet. But anyway, but it wasn't very conducive for a psychic reading. You know what I mean? Anyway, and she's like supposedly like one of the best in the state, and I didn't think she was. I thought she was the fake of the nation. But so anyway, yeah, it was fun. We've done some. We went to last year. I think we went to this restaurant here in town called Mama Carola's, and it's this Italian restaurant in this old house. It's really cute, and they like have lights, like Christmas lights up everywhere, and they did like a 4-course meal. I should have just looked back on my vlog. I probably would have said something about it on there, but I'm almost positive that's what we did last year. If we didn't do that last year, we did it the year before. And, or maybe we did it for our anniversary one year. I think it was for Valentine's Day, though, because I think I called early enough to get reservations, because, I mean, it's impossible to get reservations anywhere, you know? And, let's see. What are some other Valentine's Days that we did? I really honestly can't remember. One year for our anniversary, we pretty much travel every year now for our anniversary, but we used to go out to somewhere nice, and there was this restaurant, I don't know if it still exists, it was called Dunaway's, and it was on the roof of this building, and it was really cute. We could see like the sunset and stuff, and then they had like Christmas lights out there. It was a steakhouse too. It was weird when we got there tonight. I told Alex when we pulled in, I said, like, I'm craving a steak. I don't know why. And he goes, "Is this going to be hard for you?" And I go, "No, it'll be fine." But we got inside, you know, and that smell when you go into a steakhouse, because it's like a nice steakhouse. And, I mean, that's all you smell. And you would think that, like, by now, like, that would make me sick to like, I wouldn't like that smell. I think it's more of, like, the grilled smell of it. You know what I mean? Like, like, I've never seen that billboard before. I think it's more of, like, the smell of, like, the cooking, you know? But this twice-baked potato that I had, they like hollow it out and then they put mashed potatoes in there, which I guess is a twice-baked potato, right? So anyway, but it is so good, you guys. It was absolutely delicious. And then Alex and I, we got sides too, because he wanted to get sides for his steak. So we got asparagus and truffle fries, and the asparagus was delicious. I love asparagus anyway, but they forgot to bring out our fries, and so then the guy brought them anyway, and at the end, and he was like, "I'm really sorry, blah, 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 whatever," and we were like, "No problem," you know, and they were really good, but I only had like 2 or 3, because I was so full at that point. I didn't even eat my whole meal. So yeah, it was a good Valentine's Day. And now I'm counting down. I think we leave exactly 6 weeks or exactly 7 weeks from today to go to Miami. They played kind of like fun, like loungy club music tonight in this restaurant. It was interesting. You know what was interesting too was that there were a lot of couples that like brought their like infant kids, probably because they couldn't get a babysitter on Valentine's Day. But all of these little kids that were probably like between the ages of 2 and 3, I mean, there weren't a lot, but there were like, I would say 3 in the restaurant, you know, and they seemed to be in the room where we were sitting. They were all so well behaved, just the cutest little kids in the world. And, you know, their moms and dads had them all dressed up for Valentine's Day and stuff. There was this couple next to us, and their little girl had all kinds of bows in her hair and stuff. She looked so cute. She's probably about 2 years old. And they were playing patty cake with her at the table. She was really well behaved. Sweet. It was like 50 plus degrees in Indiana today, and it's 48 right now. It's really nice. Like, I didn't need a coat at all today, and I wore like a t-shirt earlier today. It's really nice. It's really nice. I'm not going to vlog forever tonight. I'm going to vlog for a little bit, and then I'm going to go listen to my audiobook, and then I'm going to come back and vlog a little bit afterwards. finished, what do you call it? The Vanishing Stair. I finished that this morning, and I started listening to Angie Thomas's On the Come Up. So, On the Come Up is Angie Thomas's second book. Her first book was The Hate You Give, that they just made into a movie, which I still haven't seen, even though that book was like one of my favorite books. But this one is about a girl that wants to be a rapper, and her dad, like, I think he got killed, and he was like an underground rap legend. It is so good. I'm already like 45 minutes into it, and it is so good. I've been reading so much lately. Okay, if I'm at home, I just like pull out a book and I start reading it. It was interesting because in The Vanishing Stair, I would be interested if anybody has read the Sherlock Holmes books, because they talk a lot about the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and I think that's what it's called, in The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson, which was fantastic. As a second book in a series, it was fantastic, but I really don't want to wait another year for the third part to come out. It doesn't even seem like it's been 3 years since it came out, or it's been a year since the first one came out, but I guess it has. But anyway, I wish she would put out the third part like in 6 months. I wish she would put it out now, because I'm ready to find out what happens, but I almost felt like the second part was better than the first, but you can come tomorrow to my booktube channel, because I'm going to make that video up there tomorrow. But, where am I at on time right now? Okay, so anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know. I just, like, whenever I'm at home, like, I pull out a book. If I'm in my car, I'm always listening to my audiobooks now. Well, right before this, I was listening to, because we were listening to music, and I listened to Boogie's Shoes today, which is why I sang it in my video earlier, because I was like all like jamming out listening to that. And then I listened when we were on the way back from the restaurant. On the way there, we were listening to Bonnie Raitt's I Can't Make You Love Me, or whatever that's called. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I love that song. I don't know the title of it, but I've loved it since it came out. But it's so sad. And we got to the restaurant. Alex goes, "Why are we playing such sad music?" I go, "I know, exactly." So on the way home, we listened to We Are Family. I just had my iPod on shuffle. And then what was the other one we were listening to? Oh, that Rod Stewart. Bring over some your old Motown records. I love that song. And so then when I got back in my car, it was Crystal Visions, the very best of Stevie Nicks, and it's Landslide, Stevie Nicks with Lindsey Buckingham. And you want to talk about sad, my lord. You know, I loved that song so much when I was in high school. I've had like this entire, like, Fleetwood Mac has been around for like my entire life. Like, they have had played such an important part of my entire life, because when I was a kid, I can remember when the Rumors album came out, and that would have been when my parents were separated or divorced, because my dad brought it over like to pick me up at one point, like pick me up from like to go with him for the weekend or whatever. I can remember this. He brought my mom the album, and it had just come out, and he said it was his favorite album. And my mom and my dad shared like a love for like music, although they listened to very different music, but some things they loved, like Bob Dylan. They both loved Bob Dylan, and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. They both loved them. And I would say my dad leaned more what my mom would call country western, and like Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, things like that, which I hated when I was younger, but I love now. I love Willie Nelson so much. And and I love all of that kind of music too. My mother was definitely more like folk music. She loved like Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell, real true like folk music, like Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie and Arlo Guthrie, his son. Alice's Restaurant was one of my mom's favorite songs. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant, except for Alice. But anyway, she loved all of that. She loved, you know, the Mamas and the Papas was one of my mom's favorite bands of life. But then, like, her true loves were like Bob Dylan, Judy Collins, Led Zeppelin, Simon and Garfunkel, my mother adored. And then she loved Fleetwood Mac as, you know, I got older. And so at first, but I would say my dad was definitely the Fleetwood Mac fan of the whole family. And then, but I just listened to it. I mean, I can remember my dad, you know, playing the album and like coming over and whatever. I think he must have watched me sometimes at my mom's house because like if she went out and did something, because I can remember him being there and my mom not being there, and us like, because I had this library that I grew up in, or I had this library in our house that I grew up in that had these huge vaulted ceilings, and I can remember him like, and they're like holding me and like, you know, tossing me up or dancing with me and stuff like that, you know, and it's funny, like I can remember like Fleetwood Mac being like some of my best moments with my dad, you know, and he loves Stevie Nicks and he loves Fleetwood Mac so much. And Tanya Jean is at Cher tonight. I was like, if I could turn back time. Tanya said, I'm most excited to hear Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. I said, well, of course you would. I said, do you think they'll play I Got You, Babe? She goes, yes, she always plays I Got You, Babe, and she does it with like a little thing of like Sunny in the background. I go, because you know that book was, or that song was the song that framed my book. So in my book, I Got You, Babe is the beginning and the end of my book. It like frames it. So kind of. So anyway, she was really excited about that. Our friend that I had lunch with yesterday, she got Tanya tickets for her birthday. So they all went tonight and did like a girls' night. So anyway, and I love Cher, but I don't know that I would want to go see a whole concert of Cher. Her tickets are expensive as hell. So anyway, and then when I was in high school, my friends and I, we just loved Fleetwood Mac. But Stevie Nicks almost kind of more because she was such like an iconic figure, you know? And I think that it was easier to fall in love with Stevie Nicks because, I mean, out of all of them, you know, like let's just be for real, you know, like Christine McVie is, yes, great, but she's no Stevie, okay? No offense, Stevie. Or no offense, Christine, but, is that her last name? I think that's her last name. And, you know, like, all that stuff is very, very interesting to me. But I always loved Stevie. But I used to listen to Landslide in high school with my friend, my one friend. I would say her name, but I don't know that she wants to be on my vlogs. But anyway, we would drive around and we would listen to it and we would smoke clove cigarettes and we would talk about when we're getting older and this and, or when we would get older like this and that and what our lives would look like. We were very, very, you know, these deeply intellectual conversations for 17-year-olds. No, but we would have these conversations about like life going by fast and what our lives are going to be like and all this kind of stuff. And you know, it's so weird. And it's like, now I listen to that song and it has an effect on me, but it's a different effect. And it almost kind of makes me too sad to listen to it. You know, like when my mom got older, I was talking about this on here not too long ago. You know, I would ask her, I was like, why don't you listen to the same music that you listened to when you were younger? And she said, you know, to be quite frank, it makes me sad. Like, I don't love it. Like, it makes me, you know, I like to listen to happier music. And I kind of get it as I get older. Like, I can listen to like one song, like the Bonnie Raitt song. And I was listening to some Indigo Girls today. I love the Indigo Girls. But some of their music makes me sad. Some of their music reminds me of a time that's passed by, you know? I'd rather, like, listen to some happier music. Like, people are always really surprised that, like, I love electronic dance music and whatever. I have to say right now, I know this is a bit of a sellout, but I'm kind of quietly obsessed with Ariana Grande's new album. I think it's really, really good. I really like it. So I've been listening to that a lot. But, you know, often the songs I listen to of my past, they all, like, they're attached to memories, you know? Like, I can remember, I've told the story on here, I'm not going to tell it again, about my friends all leaving for college, and I was the one that stayed behind, well, with the exception of my one friend. And I can remember getting in my car that night and playing Landslide. Like, I remember driving home, listening to that song, and, you know, it's like, there's a lot of songs like that. I was listening to the Smiths today. Now, it's funny about the Smiths, because I love the Smiths in high school. They don't make me sad. They actually make me feel kind of like rebel youth a little bit, you know, like punk rock, like You Haven't Lost It Yet. Like, I kind of always feel that inside when I'm thinking about the Smiths or I'm listening to them. The Cure is the same way. A lot of that kind of music doesn't make me sad, but when I listen to like the Grateful Dead makes me sad. I can't really listen to the Grateful Dead anymore. I do, you know, but like when I listen to like Ripple or Uncle John's Band or like, you know, the Mainstays, Box of Rain, you know, they make me sad to listen to today. I don't know why. Because that was a period of my life that is no longer, you know? Where were we the other day? And they were playing the Jerry Garcia band. And Alex said something about, he goes, this is Grateful Dead. And I go, no, it's the Jerry Garcia band. And he goes, how do you know the difference? And I said, because when you're a huge Jerry fan, you know the difference. I said, they're both amazing, but I think I like the Jerry Garcia band more. Different time of my life, you know. Dave Matthews Band does the same thing to me. I almost like, and that was later, but I almost can't like, I get like physically emotional. If you guys are a Dave Matthews Band fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, I sing at the top of my lungs to Number 41, and when I'm singing it, like, I mean, bawling out of my eyes. Like, I get so emotional listening to that song, and it takes me back. And, you know, that was a song that I listened to the Dave Matthews Band. Actually, the guy Todd that passed away, that I talked about on here, that I found out later that he passed away, that I dated, he was the one that introduced me to, you know, Dave Matthews. And we would sit around in my living room with, you know, 1,000 candles lit and the fireplace going, and we would listen to Dave Matthews. And I can remember the very first time he played for me the Christmas song. And I remember he said to me, like, this song, oh, it stopped. Anyway, he said, you know, this song reminds me of you. And to this day, when I hear that song, I always think of him, you know, and I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes, like, I get what my mom was saying about it, and I don't want to necessarily be consumed with sadness about, you know, days that have gone by and all that kind of stuff. But I'm also a person that likes to live in memories and reminisce, and I think you know that, obviously, by watching my vlog, because I reminisce constantly on here, so I won't stop listening to that music, but I think I have to also be in the right state of mind to listen to a lot of it, because often it can make me really sad, and, you know, sometimes I just don't want to be sad, and sometimes I do, and honestly, sometimes when I want to be sad, I sometimes listen to that music, and it pulls that emotion from me, and I think that's healthy, you know. I think it's healthy to get a good cry out every once in a while, and I just don't want to be stuck in it. I have to be careful, you know, when I go there. But I know the camera just stopped, but I'm going to listen to my audiobook for a little bit, and then I will come back later and vlog for a little bit longer. And I love you guys, and I will see you then. Okay, I'm back. Time got away from me. I listened to so much of my book. It's really, really good, but I'm tired now, and I've got a bunch of stuff I have to do tomorrow, so I need to head on home. So I'm headed in that direction, and I'm not going to vlog forever tonight. Probably, I don't know, a little bit longer. But anyway, definitely if you're looking for a good book, well, if you haven't read The Hate U Give, you have to read The Hate U Give, because it's fantastic. But I've been drinking this leftover coffee, and it's giving me the hiccups. But if you are looking for a new book, and you have read The Hate U Give, then you should definitely read On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. It's fantastic. So anyway, you should also, if you want to read a good graphic novel, you should read the Unlovable series by Esther Watson. I'm almost done with the third book. Like, I just sit down and devour it. I read so much of it. It's so good. It reminds me so much of when I was in high school. It cracks me up. But anyway, my eyes are tired tonight. I don't really know why. Well, you know what? I bet I slept with my contacts. Did I sleep with my contacts in last night? I don't remember. I mean, I wouldn't have taken them out before. Yeah, because I didn't plan on sleeping all through the night. So I've had my contacts in now for, well, since Wednesday morning. I need to take my contacts out. They don't really like get cloudy or anything, but they just like, I mean, I usually take them out at the end of the day, like before I go to bed. That's like, I always take my contacts out when I sleep, even though they're like disposables. But I have friends of mine that just never take them out. They wear them for like 2 weeks, throw them away, put a new pair in. I don't do that. I take them out and I put them in the container, and then with a contact lens, you know, holder thing, and then I put them in the first thing in the morning. It's so funny because, well, my prescription's not really that bad. I'm nearsighted, and I think it's 1.5 or 2.5. It's not that bad, but I'm so dependent on them now that if I don't have them in, like, I really can't see that well. And I used to wear glasses a lot. When I worked in treatment, I wore glasses for a long time. And before that, too, like not when I was drinking to go out, but just, like, around the house and stuff, I always wore glasses. And, but I don't think I really have since I've been with Alex. I mean, I have several pairs of glasses. I just don't wear them. I wear them, like, if I get up to take the dogs out and I don't want to put my contacts in yet, I'll put them on, I'll wear them. But I'm so not used to wearing glasses, like, on a regular basis, that it seems strange to me. So, yeah. I always think it's interesting when, like, people wear contact lenses that, like, for the color of their eyes. I mean, I don't judge them. I mean, do what you want to do. But, like, I don't love wearing contacts. I don't hate it. Like, it's not, you know, I mean, I've worn them now since I was, I think, 16 or 17. It doesn't bother me. But I definitely, I mean, to travel and always have to take contact solution and a case, and then, you know, I always put my contacts out first, like that and my medicine are the two things, because really, I mean, if you're on vacation, you don't have contacts, you're screwed, right? So I always take extra pairs, and I have to always go to get extra pairs before I leave, and because I'm always, like, down to my last two pairs, or last two lenses. But thankfully, I have the same prescription in both eyes, so I just only ever have to get, like, one box to tide me through. But contacts are expensive. Like, I wear AccuView Oasis, and they're like $49 for a box. I don't know how many pairs are in a box. I think 12 pairs are in a box. Well, maybe not 12 pairs, maybe 12 lenses. 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like there's more than that, maybe 24. I don't know. But they're expensive. And I remember when I was in high school and I went and got my eye exam, and I picked out my glasses and I was all excited about it. And I got these, they were like tortoiseshell frames. I mean, we didn't have all the fancy glasses and stuff back in the day. I do remember, though, like, my second pair of glasses, I had seen, like, some, like, 40s detective show. Like, it wasn't a 40s detective show, but it was, like, a movie about, like, you know, like LA Confidential or something like that. It was, like, something that was supposed to take place back then. And they wore like, the horn rim glasses, which, like this, because I have them for reading glasses now, because I got them on Amazon. But these kind of things, you see? So I used to wear these, like these kinds of lenses. Do you see? I used to wear those as my glasses. I think that was around the time that, like, I was drinking and using heavily, and then I got sober. But I remember when I finally got my glasses in high school and my contacts, and I went in and I got my lenses, or I got my glasses, and then they fitted me for contacts. And I remember going home and, like, walking outside the building, and literally, like, every line on every leaf, I could see it. Felt like it was just like a new world. I know it's cheesy to say that, but I remember that. And a couple of years ago, my prescription didn't change, like, when I got my eye exam. But she was like, because I said, like, I don't feel like my contacts are the right prescription anymore. And so she, like, went up a level or something, and, like, just like a half size or quarter size or something. It made all the difference. Like, it really, really did. But one of the things that she said that was interesting to me was, the last time I got my eye checked, which was about a year ago, I think, I'm not sure, but I said to her something to the degree of, well, it would have been in the summer, because my eye exam's up in June, I think. I said something to her about wanting to go, like, a higher level, like, with my contacts. Like, do you think we could do that again, or do you think we should? And she was like, and this was a new eye doctor that I went to, and she said, we can, but as you get older, I didn't know this. She said as you get older, it will make you'll like need reading glasses that are stronger. Which, I don't know why I'm so resistant to using reading glasses. It's not even a resistance, I don't think. It's just kind of like, I don't really think about it, honestly, when I'm sitting there at the computer and doing stuff. And recently, like, reading at home, which, I mean, obviously reading glasses are for that, but, like, I usually, now, I only take them to, like, restaurants so I can read the menu, which so reminds me of my dad. I'm like, oh my God, I've become my dad. But, like, sitting at home or, like, just looking at my phone and whatever, if I have reading glasses on, it's, like, 100 times better. So, I've been using, I've been warm all evening. I don't feel warm, but, like, wherever I go, I feel warm. At the restaurant, I felt warm, and here I feel warm, and the heat's hardly even on. But I do notice, like, the more that I use the glasses, or the reading glasses, the more I feel like I need them. Like, if I wear them while I'm, like, on the computer, it makes things 100 times better for me and clearer. So why wouldn't you just use them? But then, like, I don't want to become completely dependent upon reading glasses, but maybe I need them at this point. I don't know. My reading glasses aren't that strong. The level that I need is 1.25. And I know some people are, like, up to, like, 4 or 6 or something, I think. So I don't think it's too bad. But I was going to stop and get something to drink, and I didn't do that. This is all I have left. So, yeah. Some of the fun things that go along with getting older. That I'm being tired. Like, when I was younger, I feel like I just had so much energy. And as I get older, I don't know, maybe it's my weight gain too. But as I get older, although, like, when I was, like, heavier and I was younger, I don't remember being this tired. Like, I'm so tired all the time. And I know I'm not, like, because I've been checked out for everything. I know I'm not, like, gluten, you know, whatever, allergic to gluten. And I'm just tired a lot, like, really tired. I don't know if it's the winter. But I feel like in my youth, I had so much energy. Like, I could just go and go and go. Like, I still napped. I always napped. Even in high school, I napped. Even in middle school, I think I napped. I would come home every day after school. Well, not, like, every day, but, like, before my friend and I had a friend, my friend Margaret and I, we used to go to Wendy's at the mall that was close to us after school, and we would get double cheeseburgers plain, and then fries and Frosties, because you have to, of course, dip your fries in Frosties. And then we would go home, and my mom would have cooked this meal, you know, and so anyway. But before that, like, I started, that was when I had my license. Before I had my license, and I was just, like, hanging out at, you know, I'd come home, because I didn't really have any friends. I had one guy friend from, like, 6th grade to 9th grade. And, like, but we were, like, he moved away, and I didn't really, after that, I didn't really, so that was, like, 8th grade to, I don't know when he moved, I can't remember, I think he, oh, well, I know, he got, like, involved in, like, marching band or something like that, and so he was always really busy with, like, band stuff, and so we just kind of fell out. I didn't see him as much. I mean, we were still friends, but I didn't see him as much, and then, so I didn't really have, like, anybody to, like, hang out and do stuff with, like, 8th grade, 9th grade, and, like, half of 10th grade. So I would come home after school, and I would eat some snack, and then I remember taking naps, and I would take a nap on, like, that, because my mom had, like, this incredible fan in her bedroom, on the end of my mom's bedroom, like, bed, and, with the fan, like, right on me, and then the dog would always sleep with me, too. I miss my mom's bedroom. She had, like, the coolest bedroom in the world. It's this huge bedroom, and it had all these windows, and I loved being in there. And, like, when she wasn't home and stuff, I'd watch TV in there. It was kind of like a living room bedroom. Like, she had, like, half of it was like a living room, and the other half was like a bedroom. Her bedroom was, like, in a corner. it's kind of hard to explain it. She had like this window seat thing that kind of like sat anyway. And it was all yellow and white. And she had this wallpaper that had these little yellow flowers all over it. It was so pretty. And she had these windows that like came in. Do you guys remember, you know what I'm talking about? Like, not the actual window itself. I mean, the window itself was flat, but like the walls around it came in. And so like if you were standing looking out the window, the wall like went like this, like at an angle. And then she had like a window seat. She had a window seat down. She always wanted window seats in her house. So like when they built the house, they put window seats in to like sit and read and stuff like that. And my room was really small when I was growing up. I mean, like, really, I had a really, really small bedroom. And I didn't really spend any time in there except for to sleep and go to bed. In high school, when I sewed clothes for my friends, because that was what I wanted to do, was be a fashion designer, so I would make clothes for my friends, and then, like, I would watch movies, Pretty in Pink a lot, interestingly enough, and a lot of, like, those John Hughes movies, like 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink and stuff, Breakfast Club. I would watch those movies and I would like put these outfits together for my friends, and then like that was when I was like 16, 17. That was like my junior, senior year, because then I would like drive it over. I had one friend of mine, my one friend that she and I actually have the same birthday, but she's a year behind me. She lives in Portland, Oregon now, but she was kind of like my muse in high school, and I would make all these outfits for her and jackets and like. Why is that truck making that noise? It's so weird. Like sport coats and all this kind of stuff. You know what? I forgot that this was not the way that I wanted to come because of the construction or whatever. I hope it's been long enough now that I can get through here. It's been like an hour. But anyway, so yeah, so my mom would come in and she would like look at what I was making. My parents were always so supportive of that too. I feel like one reason why I've like tried so many different things in my life, now it's interesting because it's on the other side. It must be construction. Yeah, it's construction. But I think one of the reasons why I've tried so many different things in my life, as far as like, you know, writing and YouTube and whatnot, and it's because my parents always encouraged me, you know, to like try new things, do new things. Like, they were always encouraging of whatever I wanted to do, whatever kind of, you know, hobby or pastime or whatever. Like, they were always, you know, they would always ask very seriously, you know, like if I was into like writing, my mom would say, well, read me one of your poems. I want to hear your poem. Or she'd say, let me look at it, you know. Or my dad was very similar to that too, you know, wanted to see my short stories. And worse, not always like, okay, this is the best short story in the entire world. They were critical, you know, like if something didn't work. It was interesting because in The Wife, if you haven't, this won't ruin it for you. I don't want to ruin the movie, but it's about authors, and their son is an aspiring author. I think he's like in college age probably. And what are they doing? Oh, they're paving like the potholes, and they're just like huge clumps sitting in the middle of the road. But anyway, through the whole book, he like wants his dad to read like the short story and like critique it for him, and like finally he does. And like he's critical though, you know, and he's like, there's, you know, it's a first draft, and he kind of is upset about it. And I remember like my dad and my mom being like that. Like, they would never tear a piece that I wrote apart. Like, they would say, well, this is what I like that's really good, and this is that, you know, whatever. But they were also very critical. Like, they had a critical eye, you know. And I think that one of the things that was great about that was I can remember being in my creative writing class, and like I took creative writing, like, so my undergraduate degree was in English, but that was my focus, was creative writing, and then I minored in film studies. But so I took a lot of creative writing classes. I think like my last 2 years I took it, like both semesters of my last 2 years. What is going on up here? Is this all construction? It is. Oh, they're paving the roads up here. But anyway, you know, we would have to write a story every week, and then we would have to, like, go to, like, Kinko's, which is, you know, FedEx, and make, like, you know, 15 copies of them and pass them out to everybody, and then people would read them, and then we would sit in class, and they would literally discuss our stories. Like, you had to sit right there while somebody tore your piece apart, you know, but it was really healthy. And I think, like, later working on a, you know, a team in treatment, like, it really helped me for that too. I think it's always good to be able to work in a team or a group, but also, like, know your place. Like, I'm not a great, like, people always assume when I get in groups that, like, I'm a great group leader. I'm not a great group leader. I'm better if you just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Like, I'm not, like, I know what I do and what I, you know, what I'm good at in, like, groups, and, like, that's not my strong point. But yeah. Those classes were fun. I remember this girl. I don't remember anything about her, but I remember my friend and I had this friend of mine. She was a fantastic author. I can't believe she hasn't had anything published. I mean, she was so good back in the day. If she does, I'm not aware of it, but she is a fantastic writer. And, but anyway, this one girl in our class, she would, like, her short stories were always, like, things that had just happened, like current events, but she turned them into short stories. But they would be, like, something, like, not like a huge current event, but like something that you would see, like, in the paper, or like the local paper. And I didn't always know what it was, you know, but, like, I can remember my friend would say, like, you know, she'd be like, oh my God, can't she come up with her own ideas? Like, every time she, like, writes a story, it's something that just happened in the newspaper 2 days ago or on the news, you know? And I can remember us laughing about it. This girl was a great writer, and she, you know, she'd always kind of, like, take an angle, but what's interesting about that now is that we see so much of that, you know, like in pop fiction, that people take ideas, like, you know, like, for example, like James Patterson's book with Bill Clinton that he wrote, The President is Missing. I mean, that was, you know, there's so many things that are pop culture written now that are based on, like, there was something recently that I was reading and I was like, oh my God, this is like a story that happened, you know. There's so many of that, so many books like that, and she might have been onto something back then. She's probably writing them now, ghost writing them. It's funny who we are, you know, when we're younger, and who we become as we're older. And, you know, like, I think about my mom a lot and how, you know, she wanted to be a costume designer for some huge movie theater or movie company, you know, like MGM. And then she also wanted to be, like, a trial attorney, you know, and live in San Francisco Harbor on a houseboat. And she had all these dreams, and she had all these things that she never did, you know, and I think about that a lot. And I think about, that's why I say, like, you know, life is not a dress rehearsal. There's only, like, we only get one of these, you know? And it's like, when you think about it, you gotta take your chances and your opportunities, because you never know, like, you know. So I always say to people, if you're wanting to start, I was talking to somebody, who was it that I was talking to? I was talking to somebody in a meeting, and she was like, oh, my brother wants to be a YouTuber or whatever. And I said, tell him to start it. Just, like, start it, you know? I said, have him, you know, do what he wants, you know. I said, how old is he? And she was like, he's almost 30 and he wants to do this. I said, have him do it. It's time. If he's going to do it, he's got to do it, you know? Life's too short. And I was like, have him call me if he has any questions about it, you know? She's like, well, he's all worried about cameras. And I said, just tell him it doesn't matter. He can do it on his phone. It's just about having fun with it, you know, when you start and all that kind of stuff. And I think anything that we do, and I said this in, like, my video about Shane Dawson, I think that anything that we do, we should enjoy the journey. We should enjoy the process. Because really the process is the part that should be enjoyable the most. You know, like, I can remember writing my book, and then when I was done, yeah, I felt elated. I was like, I can't believe I actually wrote a book and finished it. Like, it was kind of a shell shock to me, honestly. But then at the same time, it's like, what I realized was holding the finished, published copy, that was great. But at the same time, I was like, that was nothing in comparison. And I'll never forget this, you know, that the nights that I sat there and, you know, PP slept by my feet, and then I'd take him outside, and it was beautiful outside, you know, and we would walk around, or, you know, I'd take all 3 dogs outside, you know, and I think back on that, and I'm like, those are moments that I'll never have back again, you know, and that whole process of that. Or, you know, I'd look at PP and I'd say, you know, like, you know, what do you think about this, PP? And of course, he's not talking back to me, you know. But, like, I drove around a lot, and that's really when I got into listening. I mean, I've always listened to audiobooks, and, like, even when it was on tape cassettes, I listened to them. And I've always listened to, like, radio shows, and I love that because I'm a learner. Like, I'm a learner when I listen better than if I, like, am just, you know. So, but at that point, that was when I really, really was listening to a lot of Audible. I started listening to Audible then. And I remember the very first book I listened to on Audible was The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider. And the second book I read was, which is fantastic, and one of my all-time, it's going to stop, hold on a second. And the second book I read, which is one of my all-time favorite books of life, is Love Letters to the Dead by Ava DeLaria. And her second book finally came out last year, and I haven't read it yet, but I do have it on Audible. But it's about this mom and daughter, and it goes back and forth through these, through 20 years or something. It goes back and forth between, like, when the mother is younger and older, I don't know. So, but Love Letters to the Dead was fantastic. And, you know, I would go and I would just, like, take breaks from writing, and I would go listen to audiobooks for, like, an hour, and it just, like, let me, my mind kind of just escape. And, because I couldn't just, like, turn on the TV, because, you know, Alex was asleep upstairs and would have woken him up. And so, like, that was just such a great time, you know? I just got the weirdest craving for hummus. I don't know why. I have some at home, but I don't think I have any crackers, is the problem. Oh, my Lanta. I can't believe it's Friday. We're going to Galantis tomorrow night with Melissa and Jason. I love Galantis. They're one of my favorite DJs. Man, there's all kinds of construction. There's construction up here, but I'm getting off of this exit. There's construction up here. It's like slowing stuff down, I can see. I think that's one of the things I like about spring and summer the most. You know, like, winter's great, and I'm ready kind of like to be on the tail end of winter. I mean, we're coming into March now, which I'm fine with. But like spring and summer, it's like you can be outside and, you know, drive around, get fountain pops, go hair concerts, you know, just be in the back. I'm getting that back patio done like nobody's business this year. That exit is closed off. You can't even get on the interstate that way. A couple of years ago, Alex and I, God, I bet it's been 5 or 6 years now, we each came up with like 20 things we wanted to do that summer. And it was like picnic in the park, and go to the zoo, and the art museum here in Indianapolis shows movies every Friday night, like on this huge screen outside. You can take food. And it was like, do a day trip to the Indiana Dunes in northern Indiana, and you know, all kinds of stuff. We had all this summer stuff that we wanted to do, and we put it in this container, and then like we would pull them out, and whatever we pulled out was what we had to do for that weekend. But we didn't do as many of them as I wish. We didn't do very many at all. I wish we did, but I feel like we're so busy anyway. Well, especially Alex, like, he's always going and doing something. And then when he's at home, I do so much love this Kiehl's lip balm. This is the lip mask, but it's basically just like the lip balm. I had to throw away that shit out because it was gone. But when he's at home, he just likes to relax. Like, he works so hard, I feel bad for him, you know. I'm like, we'll just sit there and watch TV, which is why he watches like movies and TV on the weekends, because he's so tired from working, you know. I think we're kind of a Netflix generation, though. Like, I think a lot of people do that. They watch YouTube, or they watch Netflix, or they watch movies or something on the weekends, and they just kind of like hibernate a little bit. I just honestly have a hard time sitting that long. I'm just not great at that. Like, somebody was asking me, I can't remember who, if I finished those Ted Bundy tapes, and I was like, I don't love those Ted Bundy tapes. I said, they're just not super interesting to me. But I do want to finish them, because I read the Stranger Beside Me, but I don't have tons of interest in that case. I don't know why. And it's not because of the era that it took place in. It's not because of that. I mean, he's very freaky. I don't know. I just don't really have a lot of interest in that. I think, like, and I was saying this on here the other night, I think, but I have more interest when it's, like, from the investigators. Maybe I said it in my BookTube video. I have more interest when it's from, like, the investigators or the victim's point of view. By the way, a little sneak peek, and I haven't announced this yet on the BookTube channel, but you guys would be the first one. We took a poll, and I said whatever book won. So we are reading for March, and I hope a lot of people want to read this. It's brand new. It just came out in January. The BTK Killer's Daughter's book we're going to read. So that'll be interesting. I don't know anything about the BTK Killer, and I don't know anything about, I didn't see her interview, and quite frankly, I don't want to watch it until after I've read the book, because I don't want to, like, I try to not listen to podcasts or read the stuff or, you know, the articles and whatever until after I've read it, because I start having all these questions in my head, and then I watch the stuff, because a lot of times, you know, if you watch the interview, there's like, why even read the book? Because they tell you so much, you know, and I want to be surprised when I'm reading the book. Tanya told me that the interview was amazing. I just can't even imagine, can you? I mean, I think one of the things that's really scary about all this kind of stuff when you start talking about, like, Ted Bundy or the BTK Killer and all these kinds of things, John Wayne Gacy, you know, all these people, which that was one of the options, and, like, really nobody, I think John Wayne Gacy and Ed Gein were the last two, and nobody wanted to really read those. But I think what's interesting about them is, like, nobody knew, you know? I mean, when I see clips of, like, Ted Bundy, I'm kind of like, well, I get it. Like, I don't know that I would have known, you know? But, like, when you read the book and you hear about, like, all the stuff that the girlfriend reported, it's kind of like, well, weren't you adding that up in your head? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, if Alex had all that stuff in his car, I'd be like, why do you have pantyhose? Like, look at how this sweatshirt is riding up on me. That is not a pretty look. I mean, if Alex had, like, pantyhose tied up with hole sockets, and I mean, I'd be like, or eye sockets, I'd be like, why do you have, what is going on? Like, oh, it's just, you know, for hunting. For hunting what? Like, you know, I mean, like, I don't know, sometimes it's strange to me, like, how people just, I don't know. But, like, whenever you read these cases, there's, like, you know, tons of people that don't know about it. I guess the Golden State Killer has, like, grown kids and stuff like that. What was I listening to? I was listening to something. Oh, it was the Paul Holes book, Evil Has a Name, on Audible. And they interviewed these people that he used to work with. He, like, paid for all of his kids to go to medical school, the Golden State Killer. He, like, his kids are all, like, doctors. And, I'm like, I can't even imagine. And he was, like, married and divorced. And that was, like, while it was all going on. And I'm like, this is surreal to me. Like, I don't know. But then it starts making you think, right? Like, what if Miss Tanya Jean Applestein was, like, serial killer of the world? Can you even imagine? I mean, there are some people that you just know that they aren't, right? Or maybe. Maybe they are. Maybe she is. Gosh. I literally just did a circle. Did you see that? I wonder if tomorrow it's going to be nice too. Now it's 30 degrees. It dropped quite a bit. Well, anyway, I think I'm going to get off here now. I have no idea how long I've been vlogging. 24, 48, like probably almost an hour. But anyway, I always say I'm going to vlog throughout the day and then I forget. But I also, like, I am so, like, in my car listening to audiobooks now that, like, I just kind of love to just, like, drive around and listen, so. But I need to do a better job of vlogging throughout the day because I know that you guys enjoy that. Well, anyway, thank God it's Friday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. I hope you had a great Valentine's Day. If you're with somebody, great. If you're not, well, I saw Colleen Ballinger tweeted this out. She goes, happy Valentine's Day, and if you're with somebody, I hope it was wonderful, and if you're single, it's over. So there you go. And I hope you guys are getting ready for the weekend to relax and enjoy yourselves. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.